Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to my Ultimate Zodiac Showdown series. So I am back with another episode in this series. It has been quite a while since I last recorded an episode. So yeah, in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the love and anger compatibility between Aries versus Cancer. And I recommend that you watch this video if you have your Sun, your Moon, your Venus, your Mars, and also your Mercury within either of these signs, because of course communication is pretty important when it comes to compatibility and relationships. However, before we do get started, if you would like to know more information all about compatibility within astrology, as well as more information about your Venus sign along with your Venus house and your Libra house and your 7th house within the natal birth chart, then I have created a Libra season/archetype ebook. So what I am going to do is I'm going to provide a link to that ebook in the description box below so that you can pick up your copy today. Okay then, so with all those introductions out of the way, Aries versus Cancer. Let's do this. So what we are noticing between these signs is that they are making what's known as a square aspect between one another within the zodiac wheel. And square aspects can result or suggest some conflict, some pressure, and some tensions and criticisms. But what I want to do today is I not only want to discuss these potential tensions and pressures between the signs, but I also want to try and look at how they can also relate and how they can get along too. So of course there are a lot of things that come into play when it comes to compatibility, but if we focus on the love for now, so looking at love and romance and courtship, what is it that makes this attraction, creates this attraction between these two signs in the first place? And I think that what a Cancer may be attracted to firstly within an Aries type of person would be they may be attracted to their drive, they may be attracted to how fearless they can be, they may be attracted to how the Aries has this get up and go type of mentality. They just have a lot of energy to give. And so the Cancer may really admire and appreciate how an Aries just has the ability to do what they want, when they want, go where they want, and not really have much fear associated with that, okay? But then with the Cancer, or the Aries towards the Cancer, the Aries might be really attracted to the Cancer's allure. So Cancers, they are much more about how they feel within that moment, whereas yes, they can both be feelings based, where an Aries can act instantly on their feeling. Still, the Cancer is, they are going to still be strongly feelings based, but they'll be more like, oh, you know what, I really don't feel like doing that today. Maybe we can just sit for an hour and see how we feel later. Or I'm going into this new experience right now and it doesn't feel right. So I think I'm just gonna take myself away from this situation. But then you see an Aries person is going to be more fearless in that, yes, okay, maybe they feel all of these things when they go into new experiences and such, but they're going to have more of this attitude of, so what, you know, people can take me or leave me, I don't care, this type of attitude. So I feel as if an Aries could really admire the Cancer's ability to really keep themselves safe and protected. And in this way, right, I think that if they get into a union together, a romantic relationship together, they can keep each other safe and protected. So for example, a Cancer person may really give the Aries person some of their caring, nurturing advice towards certain experiences that the Aries goes through. But then likewise, the Aries can bring the Cancer out of their shell, right? This shell symbolism, bring them out of their shell a little bit and to try new things and to do new things together. Now, of course, conflicts may arise between these two if, for one, the Aries pushes on the Cancer a lot to do something whenever the Cancer truly does not feel like it, or they feel emotionally drained or just drained in general. Or conflicts can arise if the Cancer person is smothering towards the Aries as well, or a little bit suffocating. So it's good, I think, with these two signs to be able to communicate how they feel in a way where they do consider the other person. So of course, with communication, it's good to look at the Mercury sign, but then likewise with the emotions and feelings, it's good to look at the moon sign. So I'm going to give a sort of example of how this could play out, and then how these two can communicate their feelings more effectively towards one another. So let's say, for example, that an Aries person is quite frustrated. You know, maybe they had a really hard day at work, and the Aries may just take it out on whoever is around them, you know. I don't mean that they do this deliberately, but you can find that with Aries types, they will rant, you know, they will get mad, they will say all what's on their mind. If someone or something has pissed them off throughout the day, they will just rant and rave about it. And if you were to have this Cancer partner into the mix here, yes, a Cancer person is going to support the Aries and listen to the Aries ranting and their frustrations. But if it gets to a point where the Aries is being really very aggressive, the Cancer can be quite sensitive to this, and they may feel a little bit threatened and a little bit intimidated by it. And especially if the Aries does take out their frustrations on the Cancer, then the Cancer may have a tendency of retreating or taking themselves away from the situation. And even if they do retreat or take themselves away, the Aries may get even more pissed off, because the Aries, that's not what the Aries wants. You know, the Aries wants someone to just be that soundboard for their emotions and for communication in general. But then likewise, let's say, for example, that a Cancer person was to come home from work and maybe they had a really rough day, but yet the Aries is feeling fine. You know, the Aries had a really successful day, they're really busy, they're really productive, they got their stuff done, but the Cancer isn't feeling too good. Now, what might happen is an Aries person may lack the awareness towards the Cancer a little bit, whereas yes, Cancers can see through the Aries in terms of emotions and really support them. Aries towards the Cancer, yes, they can support them, but it's more in a way of, come on, like, you can get through this, let's move past this, come on, keep moving forward, let's not dwell there, let's not get into that, come on, Cancer, get out of there, like, what are you doing in there, we don't have time for this. So yeah, there can be a bit of frustration in that way, because all the Cancer wants to do is just feel how they feel, and they will move through that emotion a bit. It'll just take a bit more time for them to go through that emotion in comparison to the Aries person. So with that being said, I think it's good then for the Cancer to then just say to the Aries, you know what, Aries, I went through this today, this happened to me today, I feel this way, can we just maybe chill out and just, you know, sit on the sofa tonight rather than go to the park or rather than go for a movie, I just feel so emotionally drained. So to be able to communicate to the Aries, or they could just simply say to the Aries, you know, you go and do your thing. It's not that they have to keep the Aries back from doing their thing, but they're just giving more of that freedom for the Aries to do what they want, but still explaining that they just don't really feel like it at that time. But then I also think it would be beneficial for the Aries to learn how to, yes, okay, they're gonna let out their emotions and they're gonna rant and rave about things, but to do it in a way that they know that it's how they feel, you know, and that they're not trying to take it out on anybody, you know. So maybe opening that line of communication with the Cancer and saying, I know you didn't do anything to me today, this is not your fault, but I'm just explaining that I went through this today. This is my personal thing that I went through and it really hurts me. And honestly, a Cancer is going to be so understanding towards other people's emotions, but it's how it's delivered. You know, if someone takes out their emotions on a Cancer, that can really, really hurt them. But if someone can learn to communicate to the Cancer and help them understand that I know that you didn't do this to me, I know that it was something else that rose this emotion within me, then I think that the Cancer is going to be a lot more patient and understanding. So those are just a couple of implications that may arise between these two signs. However, if we were to address what these two signs may enjoy doing together once in a relationship. So I think that if we were to look at the outside world, I think that they would both enjoy going on walks. You know, maybe they have a dog with one another, they can take the dog for a walk together, or maybe going to the park, maybe going to a natural reserve somewhere, maybe being by the water, going to the coast, to the beach, these types of things. Maybe going to a fun fair or like a really fun social event. And I think that being outside and just being active and moving the body would definitely be something that the Aries would really enjoy. But then likewise, the whole stimuli that comes from these events and being by the water especially, or going to different culture events or historical events or social events, may also really be things that the Cancer enjoys as well, especially if either party are learning new things, you know. Maybe they go to a certain event, like it's a lecture, it's a talk of some sort, or maybe they go to the museum and they learn new things there. Basically, the two of them can enjoy things that stimulate their body, stimulate their emotions, and also stimulate their mind. And even looking at holidays and vacations, these two signs, once in a relationship, they can really ignite a lot of excitement and passion from within each other when it comes to holidays and vacations. You know, Aries people, if an Aries, for example, is really into Halloween, an Aries person is going to get so pumped up about it because whatever an Aries likes or is passionate about, it's their thing, and so they'll not shut up about it. So they can really turn to the Cancer and get the Cancer really pumped up. But then likewise, if the Cancer has a certain holiday that they really love, then it's just going to be like a traditional thing. You know, the Cancer can make certain foods or bring certain traditional dishes to that event and say, hey, this is a recipe my mom or my dad made when I was a kid, and it's just within the family. And so the two of them bonding over this can really bring just a lot of excitement into the relationship, and they can feel like they're understood, or they can just complement each other in that way. So I do think that a union between the two of them can bring this really good sense of security and protection and a lot of affection and plenty of activity going on. And even on that note, right, both of them can be quite affectionate towards one another. I mean, Aries types are going to be a lot more physical, so they may do certain things on the Cancer that the Cancer may like. So for example, this could be really silly, but they might like poke their face, or like do this with their nose, like do that in their face a little bit, or just random things that are quite childlike and playful towards the Cancer. The Cancer may find to be quite funny. You know, of course, the Cancer can be quite sensitive. So maybe at the beginning stages of the relationship, see, I think it really is good for them to feel each other out in that way at the beginning, because there may be certain things that the Aries does towards the Cancer that the Cancer can become a little bit offended by, or like, what is that supposed to mean? Why did you do that? Oh my god. Those things can maybe happen, but then also within the beginning stages, the Aries may not really understand the ebbs and flows of the Cancer, or like their habits and their patterns that they get into. So it's also good for the Aries to not push or be really bossy towards the Cancer, and just to appreciate that the Cancer has their way of doing things, you know? They don't need to speed up, they don't need to change what they're doing. Like, the Cancer's good, it's the way they've done things, but you know, at the same time, when together in a relationship together, they can learn a lot from one another, you know? So the Cancer can maybe learn some new tricks and tips on what to do or how to do things differently from the Aries. Though still, looking at the affection, the Aries may really love the affection that the Cancer gives the Aries. You know, a Cancer person, when in a relationship, are going to be very huggy and cuddly. They'll want to snuggle up on the sofa, and the Aries may really like this. You know, it gives the Aries a break from all the movement. And if the Aries really falls for that Cancer, the Aries can just sink into the Cancer's arms. But then likewise, if a Cancer really falls for the Aries, they may look to that Aries and just be like, you are such a wee rascal, you're such a wee rascal, you and your childlike behaviour, poking my face and, you know, saying certain things to challenge me. Well, you know what, Aries, I'm going to challenge you right back. Seriously, Aries people may really enjoy a challenge, and if whoever they're with challenges them in the right way, where they're not trying to dominate them or control them, then the Aries may like this. Ultimately, I think that this can be a relationship that is highly supportive, and I think that there can be a lot of affection that they can show towards one another, and I think that they can be cheerleaders, real cheerleaders towards each other as well. Okay, so now we have looked at the love compatibility, let's look at anger and disagreements and disputes. So kind of already looked at a potential conflict in terms of how they express their emotions or show their emotions towards one another, and how that can create a conflict and also miscommunication towards each other. But if we are to really look at anger here, I think that if an Aries is angry, it would be beneficial for the Cancer to explain to the Aries that they need to remove themselves from the situation, or to explain to the Aries that yes, they support the Aries and that they're there for the Aries, but at the same time they don't want to be on that receiving end of the Aries wrath. So the Cancer then learning how to express also how they feel, but at the same time not taking it away from how the Aries feels either. But then also, if the Cancer is angry, it would be beneficial for the Aries to maybe not just tell the Cancer to get over it or just to move past it, to also appreciate that the Cancer is going to feel anger just as much. Maybe they express it differently, you know, because this is even a possibility that maybe the Aries doesn't even know that the Cancer is angry, or maybe the Cancer is doing things that are just different by nature to what they usually do, and the Aries can pick up on that. But then it can turn into this whole, I'm not a mind reader, like, am I supposed to just look at your little cues or the different things you're doing that are not part of your cycle and pay attention to that and pick up on that and then know exactly what's wrong. You know, there can even be that with a situation where Cancers may not be as outright about their anger or about what's upsetting them, and so it's good for the Cancer then with that to, you know that people are not mind readers and it's good for them to just say, like, I'm upset, like, I'm pissed, there's something I'm going through right now, I need some time as well. See, what can maybe happen with this relationship is we can maybe have one person being maybe the Cancer, tippy-toeing around, walking on eggshells around the Aries, especially if the Aries is going through their really heated frustrations. And that walking on eggshells mentality may even piss off the Aries even more. Now, of course, it does depend why they're arguing, what brought up a potential argument between the two of them. I mean, if it was just something silly over the television, that type of thing, or miscommunication or disagreement over information they're learning, then that's something that, yeah, the both of them can get over pretty quickly and just be like, right, okay, whatever, let's just move past this. But then if it's something where there's maybe lies and there's deceit, even possibly cheating, all these different things that can maybe arise within a relationship, then the anger between the two of them, well, they're going to express it very differently. You know, the Aries person is just going to be so, their ego is going to be so bruised and they're going to be so mad and really just frustrated and super angry and fired up, whereas the Cancer person is just going to like sulk and mull over it and just not want to be near the Aries and just distance themselves from the Aries, and before you know it, you know, they're not going to have a relationship. So it's really good for them to both, of course, you know, within any relationship, it's good not to cheat or lie and deceive each other. You know, you have to have loyalty, you have to have trust, you have to have respect and integrity towards each other. But still, it's good for them both to be maybe really clear over what they both want out of the relationship in the beginning, or where they see it going together, because this could even be a situation where the Aries person maybe is not ready to commit, or they're not ready to settle down, whilst the Cancer person is, and maybe the Cancer person is more family orientated, and if that's not communicated at the beginning, there's going to be a lot of frustrations. But then also maybe the Cancer person is still trying to feel out the Aries person and see, like, should we commit, should we not? Whereas the Aries person is more like, but I am ready, you know, I decided the day I met you, I decided the second day I met you, why are we still, you know, having you hemming in hand and deciding if you want to or not? So yeah, it's really good for them both to be clear over how committed they are towards one another, and ultimately what the both of them want out of the relationship. Ultimately, the anger expressed between these two signs is rather different. So with Aries, it's just more forthright. With Cancer, it's more subtle. But what the Aries is learning from the Cancer is that, well, they got to communicate to the Cancer that they're not mind readers, but then also the Cancer should communicate to the Aries that sometimes they just need their space. Sometimes they need a little bit of time in order to process that anger. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes my video on the Aries versus Cancer love and anger compatibility. Now, if you do happen to have any thoughts and opinions on today's video, then please be sure to let us know in the comment section down below. But with all that being said then, thank you so much for watching, thank you for subscribing, and of course if you would like to see more videos from myself and you have not yet subscribed, then go right ahead and click that subscribe button. And I will be back with another video very, very soon.